This was Penny's choice of color. It was good choice. I like it. Well, I wanted to send that Sean?
Everybody can get a seat, we'll get underway. It's an on-time airline. And I do believe the seats you're in are going to be good because you don't want to crane your neck. So anywhere probably from here back is good. Danny's passing around a yellow notepad. If you would put your name on it, so we'll know who's here tonight. We should have your contact information. If we don't, I'll go ahead and put your cell phone and email on there beside your name. Okay? All right. Well, 11 days, 18 hours, and no minutes as of, well, 2 minutes from now. In 2 minutes, and we'll be in totality. It's hard to believe we're actually here after over a year of planning, but we are. So I'm going to show you an agenda in just a second, but a couple things I wanted to say first. And I'm Alan Price. Foolishly, about a year ago, I agreed with Laura to chair a small committee to look at the possibility of having an event, and here we are with this event, which is just like yeast, it's continued to get bigger and bigger. But it's going to be fabulous. This is going to be a great event, and we're just really pleased you're here. So let me talk a little bit about teamwork. This is a great team. We've been meeting for over a year. We've got a number of different volunteers. Some of you are on that large group, and some of you have been doing other things. And some of you are new to the group, but it's really something we appreciate that you're here. And we've got some great teamwork. We're going to bring you on the team tonight. So the great teams have some things in common. First of all, they have unique skills. Second, everybody knows what the mission is. And third, everybody knows how they fit into the mission. And finally, I'd say the last thing about it is everybody's free to speak up. Great teams have robustness and flexibility where people feel like they can make input. And if you've got an idea that we can do and implement, we want to hear from you, okay? So don't think because you don't know everything that you might not know something that's important. So we want to hear from you. And I want to tell you a quick story. My brother and my wife have heard this, but when I was interviewing for a Delta flying job back in January of 1977, I had to pass muster with Dr. Carl Janus, who was the corporate psychologist for Delta. So you can imagine you had the power of life or death over. So you're sitting there scared to death. He's a very dour man, bow tie. He's sitting there and he's reading everything that's ever been known about me. He's got my whole case history in front of him. And he reads everything out loud to be sure it's correct. I said, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Gets to my last of my file, and he said, I see you flew C-130s in Vietnam as an aircraft mechanic. I said, that's correct, sir. Then he begins to read over my awards and decorations. Now, if you've been in a war zone, you get awards and decorations. I wasn't a hero, but I was there, did my duty, and he confirmed that the medals I had were correct. I said, yes, sir. He got up and he came around the desk. And when he came around the desk, I stood up. I didn't know what he was doing. And he grabbed my hand and he said, I want to thank you. I said, sir. He said, I want to thank you for serving your country. Now remember, this was January of 1977, and those of us here old enough to remember, what was the environment in the United States about the military in those days? They were spitting on us. They were just blaming the military for a political failure. So it was exceptional for somebody to thank you for doing your duty to serve your country. And that was over 40 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday, because he thanked me for doing my job. Now, why am I telling that story? First of all, I want to thank you for doing your job and volunteering to do this. But second, I want to tell you that you're going to be ambassadors for Reagan County. When these patrons, we're calling them like the masters, you know, when these people show up, we want to treat them like they're guests in our county, and we want to do the best we can for them so that they have a great experience, and then they come back. That's what this is all about. That's one of our key objectives, is making sure people experience a great thing in the country. So, we want to welcome you to our team, the OutASight team. Now today, Laura and Nolan both were on Channel 11. You might get to see that today at Atlanta and Company.
It was on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the 17th, Tika and I'll go down and go through the gauntlet also.
Those are your stars for next Wednesday's
Yeah,
show.
right.
Be sure to tune in next Wednesday.
On the 17th. So we're getting a lot of great publicity from Channel 11. So let me show you what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about clubs, just for about 10 minutes, and give you an overview. And then I'm going to ask Tika to come up and give you some more detailed information about OutASight, the actual event itself. Then Nolan's going to come up and talk about what we call run of show, the plan for the day of, and how we're going to fit things together. And then Danny is going to come up. He's our parking czar, we decided, parking and shuttle czar. And then finally, Laura will come up and talk about volunteerism. And Jim Wallace is going to be part of that to talk about money and how we're going to handle that. Now I'm going to come back up and kind of finish it up with our safety and security plan. And any questions you have as time remains, we'll certainly address those. As our speakers finish, that's an appropriate time to ask questions too of them. And if we don't get everything answered, then at the end, feel free to ask. And then finally, we're going to show you a Georgia State produced video. That's going to be an intro video that we'll be showing here in Ridden the day of. And we just got it this afternoon, literally. So it's hot off the press. In fact, most of our team has not seen it before. Maybe you've not seen it. So this will be the first time for everybody. So that's our plan tonight. So on Monday the 21st, we're going to be one of 14 states that experiences totality. It's a unique thing, and we're just so blessed that it's coming right through Reagan County. Right through Dillard, we're less than a mile from the line of totality. So it's an amazing thing, and we have this campus thanks to Tika's good efforts and the staff and Dr. Stroh. I think, Tika, you would agree, he had no idea when he agreed to this how big this was going to get. But nevertheless, they've been great, and they've been great to provide the support. Sean's here tonight, and Laura also. So we really appreciate that. So that's the shadow of the moon looking at from space. And we'll talk a little more about that shadow in a few minutes, but the actual shadow that's in totality is called the umbra. And if you're outside of that shadow, it's called the penumbra, and you're in partial eclipse. So Atlanta's going to get about 96%. And I had a friend email me and said, "This sounds really good. We're going to Piedmont Park and get some glasses." And I said, "I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That is not real good. Because the sun is still going to be bright, and you're not going to see all the marvelous things that you get to see with totality." So we're going to get to see totality at its best, right here in Dillard. That's a poster from one of the events around the country. You see the states arrayed there. They're from Oregon all the way to South Carolina. There are 14 states. And I'm going to show you a short video in a few moments that NASA produced to show you the path of the shadow. It's really cool. Now, this is one of our videos, or our posters rather. We produced 3 of these, and the committee voted unanimously, well, almost unanimously, except for Tika. She liked the cornfield in there, but we like the waterfall. We've got 2 other posters with different scenes around the county, and we're producing these in a real heavy cardstock. And we've got a limited supply of them. We're going to be selling them on Eclipse Day. And if you want some in advance, I'm sure we could save some, but we're going to sell $10 a poster, and all 3 for the set is going to be $20. They come in a plastic sleeve. Yes, ma'am.
11 by 17.
11 by 17. Actually, did you bring one tonight? Okay, that's all right. It's about this big, 11 by 17, so it's very nice frameable size. So here's the path of the eclipse, starting on the Oregon coast just south of Portland, all the way down, we're right here, and then on across by Columbia and just to the north of Charleston. You see the duration here, 2 minutes and 40.2 seconds. We're actually 2 minutes and 38 seconds, which is the second longest viewing time in the country. It's not bad. I'll take number 2 in this case. We're also a designated NASA viewing site. There are 10 across the country, and we're actually one of those designated sites. This is a little more detailed. So here's Clayton, Mountain City, and Dillard. When I said a moment ago that we're right on the path of totality, I wasn't kidding. That's where we are. So how wide do you think these bands are where you're still in totality? Anybody know? 35, about right. 30, 35 miles. Nolan? That's about 70 miles, a little less.
67.
67, that's from end to end, with totality in the center. So it's a pretty narrow region that gets to experience that. Now, how many people do you think are within the path of totality in the United States? 12 million. How many people are within a day's drive of the path of totality? 220 million people. This is going to be the most watched eclipse in the history of mankind. And it's going to be the most photographed, the most studied eclipse ever, simply because it's coming coast to coast to the United States in an era when the technology permits it. This is just kind of a quick depiction of what's going on. So there's the sun, the moon, and the earth. That little narrow band there is the umbra. This wider band is the penumbra, which is a partial eclipse. Now, there are eclipses occurring fairly frequently, but they typically go into space. They don't hit the actual Earth. But every 18 months, somewhere on Earth, there's an eclipse. And I'll tell you a little more about some of the requirements for an eclipse in just a moment. But the sun is 93 million miles away. It's 100 times bigger than the Earth in diameter. Yet the moon is able to block it out simply because of parallax. The sun is so far away, the moon is big enough being close to block it as it moves across the sun. Now, the heavenly object that's being eclipsed is always the one you talk about. So this is a total solar eclipse, which means the sun's being eclipsed. A lunar eclipse would be just the opposite. Okay? Now, here's the question. If the sun seems to rise in the east and set in the west, why does the shadow of the moon run from west to east? You know this would be multiple choice. It's actually a very simple thing, and a few of you already know, I'm sure, but both the Earth and the moon spin counterclockwise. So, as you see the rotation of the moon and the Earth, it sets the shadow will move from the west to the east, and we'll actually depict that in animation. So, here we go. This is the NASA recreation. It's about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You see the shadow actually hitting the Oregon coast there. This is 30 times actual. So if you were to slow this down 30 times, this would be the actual time of movement of the shadow of the moon. It's an hour and 33 minutes total from coast to coast. And you can see here it's over Oregon, coming to Idaho, and keep coming. Now, there are 3 requirements for a total eclipse to occur, total eclipse of the sun. First is, we have to have a new moon. The dark side of the moon has to be facing the Earth. Okay? The second thing is, the plane of the moon and the plane of the Earth have to intersect. Now, the sun and the Earth are on the same plane. Okay? And it's called the ecliptic. And the moon is inclined about 5 degrees to that. So twice a year, roughly, the moon's plane will intersect with that of the Earth, and you'll get what's called nodes. So you have to have one of those nodes to get an eclipse. So that's the second requirement. A new moon, a node. The third thing, initially, you have to be at perigee. That's the closest to the Earth. The moon's orbit is elliptical. It's not absolutely spherical. So when it's at the closest position, it's the dark side of the moon, or the new moon, and we have the nodes occurring or intersecting the planes, we get an eclipse. If the moon is at apogee, or the farthest from the Earth, you can get a partial eclipse, and it's called a ring of fire. And it doesn't totally eclipse the sun, but it comes close. It's a totally different type of eclipse. So where are we now? Beatrice, Kansas City coming up. So I don't want to cut it off before we get to Dillard. I want you to get to see Dillard. Now this is an interesting thing. Not only is the shape of the shadow the same as it actually is going to be, which is the first time this has ever actually been depicted, because NASA has the technology using some of the telescopes from space and other satellites to actually show the actual shape, but also the speed. So here's a question. Is the speed of the moon's shadow constant across the surface of the Earth? Yes? Do I have any other contrarians? The answer is no, but I'm still going to give you one of the aprons. So you'll still get an apron. All right, so here we go. We're coming into Tennessee, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So here's Athens, Tennessee. I see Clayton, Georgia. There's Dillard, right here. So you see, if we would slow that down 30 times, that's still moving pretty fast, isn't it? 2 minutes and 38 seconds is what we're going to get here. So back to the speed of the moon's shadow. Think of this. The shadow of the moon is moving through space at a constant rate. The speed of the shadow is the same in space. But it strikes the Earth, and the Earth is what? A sphere. So as the shadow has to climb up the sphere, it has to traverse a longer distance than when it's absolutely tangential to the Earth, and then back down the backside of the Earth. So the speed changes. To give you an example, at Oregon, it's going to come across the coast at about 2,955 miles an hour. And then when it comes to Kentucky, it's about 1,450 miles an hour. Picking up speed again as it comes our way to about 1,502 miles an hour. Now those figures vary depending on who you talk to. But the other thing that has to happen is the Earth is rotating. The moon is rotating in the same direction, so the shadow has to overcome the speed of the Earth and then be faster than that to actually move across the surface of the Earth. So this next drawing will show you what I'm talking about. So here's the moon's shadow moving through space. It moves a set distance in a set amount of time. That's just the law of physics. But when it strikes the Earth, it has to traverse a longer distance because it's a sphere. So this means it has to move faster, and when it's actually tangential, it would be constant, and then once again on the backside as it moves, it would have to speed up. Kind of interesting. I don't think most of us knew that about the shadow. Here's an interesting depiction of a partial eclipses that's coming. The totality of the people predicted this in the backdrop. Now we bought a bunch of dollar strainers, which we don't have tonight, but we're going to have those for the kids. They're like colanders with holes in them, and this is exactly what this is. You just let the light of the sun pass through it and project it onto some kind of object you see, and this is what you get when you can actually see the partial eclipse coming through that. So this is the corona of the sun, an actual sun itself. Now, this isn't what you're going to see with the eclipse, but I wanted to show that for a reason. We're going to actually see the corona, the ring around the sun when you get totality. And we know a couple things. We like to study about the sun during eclipses because they're extremely interesting to scientists. One of these is about 6,000 degrees at the surface of the sun, many, many millions of degrees in the center, but 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit at the surface. But you go about 1 million miles into space and it's warmer. It's 1 million degrees. And we don't know exactly why. That seems counterintuitive, but it's true. Second thing, I'll ask you a question. If you were a nuclear particle exposed to a nuclear explosion in the center of the sun, how long would it take you to be ejected out the surface of the sun? I know everybody knows this. Yeah, never having been a nuclear particle. You would think it was quick. What would you think? How about 235,000 years? Imagine. So what we have is we have a game of ping pong going on with these nuclear particles in the center of the sun, and there's a lot of electromagnetism keeping it there. And it gets close to the surface fairly quickly, but then there's a strong force which keeps it from making its way up, and it on average takes over 200,000 years. So here's, this would be second contact, it's called, when we've almost totality. Now, Francis Bailey was an astronomer, and in 1836, he identified what we were looking at. You see these flashes of light? What do you think you're looking at there?
Blue.
That's the sun's rays coming through the craters of the mountains of the moon. And he actually proved that in his paper. So these are called Bailey's beads. And then just behind that, we get one other phenomenon, which you'll see, and this is called the diamond ring. You see why it's called a diamond ring? Looks like one, doesn't it? That last flash, that last Bailey's bead before totality. So these are some of the things that our people are going to experience. And then totality. And of course you can see the corona. 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Glass is off during that period of time. But any other time you're looking at it, glass is back on. This is a fascinating thing. You'll begin to see some of the planets between us and the sun, Mercury and Venus. Some of the other planets might come out, Mars, Jupiter. You'll see stars. You'll see a 360-degree sunset. And the birds will get quiet, and the temperature will drop dramatically. People that have experienced the total solar eclipse will tell you they will never forget it. It's a uniquely awesome thing. We're going to actually have some people narrating this for you, some of our Georgia State astronomy professors. So there's totality, the diamond ring over the Pacific from an airplane. It looks like a beautiful picture. And that's the total eclipse. So just to wrap up here, a couple things I'm going to turn over to Tika. So we're expecting about 10,000 patrons. Tika's going to give you an update on advanced ticket sales in just a few minutes. They're exceeding our expectations dramatically. There may be 50,000 people in the county. So this is going to be a time for patience and courtesy, because traffic is going to be something to behold. Sunday evening, right here, at 5 o'clock, we've got Gap-Nacoochee, who's an astrophysicist. We'll be speaking on not just eclipses, but some of the great mysteries of the universe. This is something you don't want to miss. It's going to be first come, first served. No charge to come. So come early, bring your friends, but I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to be full. And we're going to try to accommodate some overflow, but this is going to be a great presentation. And we need more volunteers. You get one of these neat aprons, a name tag, a free lunch, and some water. And the satisfaction of being part of something really, really special for this county and in our lives. Between 2 and 3 p.m., we're going to pause. So we're going to shut down. We're not going to be parking the buses. We're not going to be carrying anybody. We're going to stop. And we're going to have some PAs, of course, to keep the program going. But we're going to ask our volunteers just to stop what they're doing and come enjoy the eclipse. So that's our plan. So you won't have to miss the eclipse because you're out doing something. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. So without further ado, I'm going to give it to Tika, and then we'll do questions at the end. You got a question right now?
Will school security lights come on during?
They would, but we're actually, we've talked about that. The other thing we don't want to come on are the sprinklers. You know? So we've actually, that's a great question, and we've actually talked to Reagan Gap about that. So Tika, if you'll come on up.
Can y'all hear me? I really don't need this, but the filming thing can do it. And any of y'all that know Kevin Fountain, he said he might turn sprinklers on purpose. So if y'all know Kevin, just kidding. And I'm going to go off script just for a second. Rick Michaels at Chick-fil-A has been very generous, and he's given each one of us a free Chick-fil-A. So before you leave tonight, make sure you get one of these from, thank you, from Rick. Thank you, Rick. I don't know what we would do without Chick-fil-A. Seriously. Back to what Alan said, when Laura kind of roped me into doing this event, I kind of had my own similar story. This was kind of my idea after we found out about the eclipse. I said, let's go to Gap-Nacoochee School. I actually live on this campus. This is my playground, and I love it. My husband works here. And so I went to him and my husband, and I said, he's the athletic director, by the way. Protective he is of these fields. And I said, what do you think? He goes, yes, sure, Dr. Scro's never going to let you. If he says yes, you can do it. Great. So I go and set up a meeting with Dr. Scro. Laura and I go in and start explaining to him what it is. And I said, hey, Dr. Scro, we've got this eclipse coming. It's going to be a big deal. What do you think about letting me do this event the Tourism Development Authority is putting on the athletic fields? Your husband's never going to let you do it. If he says yes, you can do it. Well, they both said yes, unbeknownst to themselves. So guess what? We're having an event at Gap-Nacoochee School. So Gap has been amazing. I've been here 10 years. We've lived on the campus. One of my kids have graduated. I've got 2 more here. And I couldn't be more pleased to be able to showcase this facility and the tourism all together. I'm just one happy mama, one happy person. So anyway, back to script. I am Tika Earnhardt. I'm the Executive Director for the Tourism Development Authority and have been for 4 years now, something like that. So I want to talk to you about the event itself. There's going to be a lot of questions, and you guys are going to get asked a lot of questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can tonight. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to ask. We have partnered with Georgia State University. They have, their physics and astronomy department has been amazing. They're giving us all of this science, they're giving us all of the support. They're actually walking us through the day and all the science of what's going on. They're going to narrate and tell us when we can put glasses on, when we have to take them off, all of those things. They're also going to be down on our baseball field. Y'all would not believe the number of phone calls that I've had. Amateur astronomers, professional and amateur photographers. They want to bring all their equipment, take all these pictures and do all these things and set up their telescopes. Well, Georgia State University, we're going to set them up down on the baseball field. They're going to have a tent where they're going to have hands-on things for kids, adults alike. They're going to set up telescopes, but then they'll be down there also to answer questions of all of us, but especially all of those astronomers and photographers that are down there. That's going to be a good thing for us to be able to make this a teachable moment. It's not just a fun day, it's not just educational, it's a teachable hands-on moment as well. We've also partnered with WXIA, Channel 11, NBC that Alan referred to earlier. They have been wonderful. We had hoped that we would get some TV coverage. We had no idea that they were going to be as amazing as they are. They've had people up here, I think, 3 different times doing videos and talking to our local people. They've been running on commercials and running their things on their air, their shows. It's been amazing, and as you said, Laura and Nolan did a phenomenal job today. They did a great job. It's kind of making me nervous that me and Alan have to follow that. We have to follow that. And they will be here on day broadcasting live as well. So you might be on TV too. So, we will have a large stage in the middle of on the north end of the soccer field. We'll have a large covered stage where we have a band coming out of Atlanta. And it's been so funny that we all think alike. Everybody says, they should play like the Dark Side of the Moon and all these eclipse songs. And I said, as a matter of fact, that's what they're doing. So their whole playlist is just all about eclipse and suns and moons. On either side of that stage, we're going to have 2 big LED Jumbotron screens. And that's going to be amazing. Not only are we going to be able to highlight for our visitors things about Reagan County, we're going to have it linked to the NASA feed, and we're going to actually watch the eclipse come from Oregon, come all the way across. So it'll be pretty amazing to watch it coming right at us. We'll also have a huge PA system, and we're talking today, we decided we're going to have to increase that PA system because we're going to have people back on the football field, softball field, and of course down on the baseball field. So we're going to increase that so the folks that don't want to really be right up on top of the stage, they'll have a chance to hear everything as well. We have food trucks. We're on a school campus. We have students on this campus right now. So we have been given very strict guidelines on what's allowed to be on this campus and what's not. There will be no alcohol, none whatsoever, which makes our job 100 times easier not to have to deal with. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's perfect. We will have, I have a great array of I think it's 15 food trucks. We have Chick-fil-A is the main one. Then we also have our band boosters. Reagan County High School Band is going to have hamburgers for us. We've got the 4-H club out of the schools. They're going to do old-fashioned tomato sandwiches. white bread, mayonnaise, and tomatoes donated from Osage. Osage is being wonderful to donate them, I think, 600 heirloom tomatoes. So we're going to have this good old-fashioned tomato sandwich. I've got a food truck called Mac-N-Cheese. My kids are like, mac-and-cheese. Philly cheesesteaks, veggie burgers, grilled chicken, you name it. King Kebab is coming. So we've got some great food trucks. So we're not going to be hurting for food. Wicked Pig is going to join us, Little Caesars. We try to keep as much local as we could. So we are really happy about that. Drink stations. We have, if it's hot, which it's August, we hope it's a beautiful sunny day. We've got a lot of drink stations. Penny has been working diligently to get us our drinks. We're having.
So Penny, what's the final count of Cokes, Mountain Dew, and water?
25,000.
25,000 types of drinks. We'll have water.
No, not 25 types.
25,000 types. 25,000 bottles or cans. Excuse me, bottles or cans. Water, Coke, Diet Coke, and I assume that was Mellow Yellow. Was it Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, okay. So we'll have drink stations set up. I'll have 5 drink stations set up to sell to the folks.
So that's out of date.
Yeah, that's out of date. We assume the majority of the people will want to eat because we are not allowing people to bring in coolers or bags. The only way you can make sure they don't bring in alcohol or tobacco or, God forbid, drugs or whatever is just to tell them they can't bring their bags or their coolers. So we're trying to make it a great experience for them to have lots of options. So even I had somebody say they were kosher. I had somebody say they had this food allergy, that. So far, I've been able to meet everybody's criteria. So I think we did a good job on choosing those. We have 50.
Moon pies.
Oh, the moon pies. The moon pies. Okay, so the moon pies were supposed to come till tomorrow. They came today. And so I unloaded 4,000 moon pies today. So we got 2,000 vanilla, the big ones. We got 2,000 chocolate, the little ones. We're sticking them together, and I have this beautiful sticker that Ursula at Gap-Graphics made. At Happy Jack Graphics, it'll go on the front, so you have an eclipse moon pie. Now, we will be selling it at our Chick-fil-A station. So, anybody want to come put moon pies together tomorrow or Friday? I happen to know where you can go. Just let me know. We have 50 plus porta potties. That's a lot of porta potties, and I am struggling to make sure we have them all. They'll be placed in a lot of different locations. But that's obviously, that and water is something we can't be short on. Those of you who know the campus well, it's now the new lower school, the building right beside us. You're in the A&T. The building right beside us is the new lower school. It used to be the admin building and the bookstore. But that parking lot right there at the top is our command center. We'll have emergency management will be there. That's where the volunteer tent to check in will be, and Laura will talk about that more. That's where all of the craziness is going to go on, but that's where we'll know all the main stuff. The lot just above the soccer field that's just across the way, that's the Welcome Center. That's where we have 2 trucks, virtual reality 3D trucks from Visitech USA. He's a Rating Gap grad that works there, and they've donated their time to come to do these 2 virtual reality trucks. We'll be able to go on and experience, which I'm pretty excited about. Our drink truck, WXIA satellite truck will be there, and our will call station for almost 10,000 people will be in that lot. So know the Welcome Center, the welcome lot. Yeah, I covered all that. I was ahead of the game. In this room, in this theater, on the day of, until around 1 o'clock, this video that Alan is going to show at the end is going to be a looping video. So we're going to encourage the folks to come in here, watch the video, and then come out. Or if they get out there early, because we're having to open up earlier than thought, they get hot, they want to come in, gives them an opportunity to cool off and go back. But that will be looping in here. Georgia State University made that video for us. Will call. Well, we are doing advanced ticket sales. everybody's doing will call now. We do have will call the weekend of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Welcome Center. So anybody that's in town, and we all know our hotels, motels, campsites, everything's booked, and we have events going on all weekend, so they're up here. They can go there and pick up their tickets, their glasses, and any shirts and hats that they bought in advance. But if they don't pick them up that day, they'll pick them up the day of in that welcome lot. And we will have lots of people handling that.
So they park and then they go from there?
Well, if they park on campus, they'll park and they have to walk right by us anyway. They'll come that way to get in. So they'll come by there and get it. If they're off the shuttles will drop off in front of this building and they'll just walk straight to us.
We'll explain all that later in just a minute.
We'll also have a handicap lot. We're encouraging folks that are not in wheelchairs to use the shuttles instead because it'll drop them off quicker or closer. But if they're in a wheelchair bound, they have to park over by the softball field. It's flat. And we'll have somebody over there helping them with their tickets or we'll call there. We will have golf carts to help anybody that is disabled or needs just a little help getting to and from. As of today, we sold 6,739 tickets, and we're 11 days out. I was not in favor of advance sales. I'm going to admit when I'm wrong. I fought it the entire way. I
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, but we did it, so now I'm all in. We're hitting 10,000. The Welcome Center should still have tickets there. Oh, a couple minutes. We weren't selling them then. Yeah, well, we were not going to do pre-sale tickets. We were going to do walk up to the gate, and I was convinced to
We started selling tickets just about less than 3 weeks ago.
yeah.
That's what we've done in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. The emergency services, on the actual track, EMS, Reagan County EMS will be here as our first aid and emergency. They'll have ambulances, they'll have ATVs, they have the AEDs. Red Cross will actually be on site too if they need us. Red Cross will also be taking care of all of our police officers on the road and in our event. We have a card that we're making that for everybody that gets their ticket at will call. It's an information ticket. It's a map of the area, and then it's the timing of what we're doing, the run show that Nolan's going to go over in just a bit. I've already talked to you about what we're not allowing. We're also not allowing pets. As you know, this campus is a pet, at least on the athletic fields, there's not supposed to be any pets. We do have some folks bringing some service dogs, and I know about a lot of those. We've asked also to bring their own chair, their own blanket. We're not having any bleachers. We don't want anybody looking up at the sun and falling out. We want their feet staying on the ground. Umbrellas, hand-carried umbrellas only, no tents or staked umbrellas. We have to protect the athletic fields. We have to protect them. This is a really pulled out picture of the fields. It's marked, of course you can't read those marks from here, but the red, you see the red on the bottom.
That's the entrance with the laser to
Oh, that's right, I forgot, I had a laser. There's the entrance of the school. There's the first aid. The band, the LED will be here. This is the welcome lot. This is the command center. All the yellow is parking. This down here is the baseball field where Georgia State University will be. This blue area is a long row of porta potties. And then right here is where you are right now. And I think that covers everything I'm supposed to talk about. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. The back gates will be up close with security guards, and the only people that will enter those are people that we've said can come in. Everything enters through the front gate. Yes, yes. And once you get out to the 441, if you're on the north gate, you're going, if you're at the north gate, you're going south back toward Atlanta. If you're on the south gate, you're going north toward Franklin. There's not going to be any in between.
I suggested they ought to have the OutASight police at either end of that bottleneck. I think the 3 lanes coming in and 4 lanes.
We asked about that, and they said by law, there's a lot to it that we can't do. We did ask.
Danny can address those.
Yeah, Danny can address those, yes. Yes, ma'am.
You want us to show up for the moon pie event? The
Tomorrow, right?
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock at the business center below the health department, where my office is. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me?
Both days.
Both days. Yes, ma'am.
This might be covered with the shuttle services and everything, but if they're not supposed to bring bags and things of that nature, when they go to get on one of the shuttles, as I'm gonna be one of the shuttle drivers, do I tell them right then and there, they're not allowed to take those
Yeah.
and bring them on?
Well,
Danny will address that.
Yeah,
and
we'll
actually,
address that. We have some signs too to help
Okay.
with that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Tika.
How are you?
You talked about the pre-sales for the tickets, and you're expecting maybe 10,000 people. Would there be any reason that we would turn people away? Is there a maximum number?
Well, we want it to be close to that 10,000. We know we're going to have people that are going to jump in cars with people. You know, we bought 5 tickets and, oh, come on, it's fine. So we know that we're going to pick up people that way. We know there's going to be people that are going to show up at the last minute. We have in reserve an additional 2,000 pairs of glasses just in case. Now, all of you get glasses, all of our volunteers, we've got those held back too. We're not going to encourage that. If we sell 10,000, we're going to encourage to stop. But we know there's going to be those people, and we have to make sure they're safe. So we're going to, I don't know that we would, but we're not going to, we have 2,000 extra pairs of glasses, but that's not what we're hoping for.
Okay.
Tika, if we could, one more question. What I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to hold your questions, and then when we get to the end, we'll allow you to ask any questions you want.
Okay.
I want to get all the
Just on the
information.
map, if you could go back one slide. Where were the food vendors?
You're in that back north gate.
It's on there.
Let's see, there's, okay, this is School Farm Road.
Right.
It's this entrance up here.
And then,
Like here's the middle school baseball field.
right.
It's the one over here.
And then where were the food, where's the actual food vendors?
Food vendors are those purple,
Okay.
those purple. Okay. All right, I'm gonna turn it over to Nolan, and I definitely am here to answer more questions if you
Thank you, Tika. We're going to have a great show all day, and I think you're really going to be pleased with what we have. Let me give you kind of an overview of what's going throughout the day without specifically saying when. Number one, we're going to have a great band with us, Cedar Hill. They're going to be playing 4 30-minute sets. We're also going to have the Raven County High School Band, and they're going to do 2 sets of 10 minutes each, so we're going to have some great music. Also, we are going to have the large screens that Tika mentioned, and on those screens, we're going to have a couple of things. Number one, we're going to have NASA programming. NASA is streaming programming all day from various locations, and we'll pick up that programming when we find interesting things. The most important thing that they'll be streaming is they're going to have several locations all the way across the United States. You saw the shadow moving across. As that shadow moves across, we're going to cut to their location that is having the eclipse at that time and show on our big screen the eclipse as it is happening at that place. So for about an hour and a half, every 20 minutes or so, weather permitting, we will be having an eclipse, and we'll be watching it get closer and closer, and hopefully the anticipation will grow and grow. The other thing we'll put on the screens, Georgia State is going to have 2 solar telescopes set up down in the lower field there, and they are going to be streaming those telescopes views online back to their campus in Atlanta, where they'll be showing it at a festival there on big screens. And we're going to drop that feed off and put it on our screens from time to time, particularly as we get close to totality, because Georgia State will start discussing and commenting on what to expect, and then when it starts to happen, they will explain it to you. So we will have that on the screen at that time as well. So the big screens are going to be big for us. Also, the big screens will be showing various videos, short videos, where we know attention spans are not that long, thanks to television. We'll have short videos and then a large number of shots of eclipses and various Hubble telescope photographs, which you all are familiar with. And those will be on the big screen, so that should be very impressive. I plan to start the screens at 9:45 when NASA starts the megacast. That's before we're technically open, but I think they're going to keep people showing up, so we're going to run that programming probably until 11 o'clock when we officially open. And then we're going to have various other things like Q&A by professors. We'll have kids come up and ask them questions, and they will give the answers, and that'll be on the stage, and that'll be on the big screens. We'll also have interviews of people out in the crowd, their impressions, what they think, particularly after the eclipse. We want to have interviews of people about what their reaction to the eclipse is. And we're very fortunate because the weather dude from the Weather Channel, who is with us, where's our weather dude? There, our weather dude. Please stand up. That's Nick Walker, the weather dude. And the weather dude is going to be our official MC, and he's going to be sure everything moves along smoothly, introducing what we need, but also doing those on-the-spot interviews, which I think are going to be a lot of fun, both for us watching and for the people being interviewed. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Then we're going to have the official, well, before the official opening at noon, we're going to have an air show. And it's going to be by Sean Brodigan. And it'll be about a 10-minute air show. It'll be over the tomato field across the street from the school. There, that big field there, that big tomato field, that's 441. That's where he'll be performing, so it'll be great views for people on our fields. Okay, the next thing that will come up after that is at 12:45, we're going to have the formal opening. And this is going to be great. We're going to have the national anthem sung by the Lowry Singers on stage. And then we'll have a prayer, short prayer, right?
I told Don to keep it short.
Yeah, short prayer.
But to be appropriate for the heavens.
Exactly. And even more appropriately short will be the welcoming comments by the head of school here and by one of our commissioners, county commissioners. And then also, Tika, are you going to speak for the TDA, the Travel Tourism Authority? And then we're going to close with the singers again singing God Bless America. So I think that will be really a moving experience right before we start the beginning of our total eclipse phase. And then at 1:06, we'll have what they call first contact, which is when the moon touches the sun and begins slowly swallowing it. And all during this, we'll have an explanation of that by Georgia State people, and then we'll have interspersed all these other feeds and interviews after that. Then at 2 o'clock, as I said, everything pauses, so all of you volunteers can come and enjoy the next hour, which is the hour that the eclipse will be in. And then at 2 o'clock, that will happen. And then the actual eclipse will start at 2:35, and as I said, we'll have a Georgia State person explain before what you will see, and then explain at the time what you will see. And this will be the time you can finally take your glasses off. And then 2:38, it's over after 2 minutes, 38 seconds. And I've had many people tell me that you think it's only 5 seconds, that you're so stunned and it goes so quickly. So please absorb every second of it, because it'll end at 2:38. Then at 3 o'clock, we want to, a lot of people will probably have been there a long time and they'll want to leave. We want to discourage that because of the parking and the shuttles. We need to spread people out. So one idea is that we'll have, of course, programming after that, but we'll have drawings, and everybody will get a ticket as Tika said, for the drawing. And there are going to be 2 sets of drawings. One set is being done by Georgia State, really for the kids. And if you visit their area as a kid, you will get a free ticket. And at the end, they will have drawings. And one of the prizes is a telescope, a very nice telescope, suitable for kids with an adult supervision. And then there are several other appropriate astronomy items that they'll be giving away. And then the other drawing will be for, I guess,
Reagan County items.
items like lodging and dinners at places that have been donated. So we're hoping that will go for about an hour and a half till 4:30. So people, even though we're technically ending at 4, we know that we want to spread this out and people will still be there probably. Then at 4:06, the eclipse ends. We have at 4:15 an air show. And as I said, at 4:30, the last drawing, and then it's clean up for us, and I don't know how long it will be, but after that, we get to leave campus and have a drink. So that's kind of the run of show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I've learned a lot about producing shows, so I hope I've learned enough. Anyway, next on the agenda is Danny Benson, who is our parking czar, and let me say, this is a critical thing, and Danny has done a phenomenal job.
Thanks, well, I'm really kind of valley parking, it looks like. So I can barely see these. So I'm going to make it very short, and I'll answer any questions you have, or we'll do it at the end, however Alan wants to do it. But basically, you're going to have a lot of buses. We're going to move a lot of people, and we're going to be very polite and make them feel very warm and comfortable here in our great county. As far as the buses are concerned, the Daniel buses are all set up. Well, let me back up. We have 3 main parking lots that we'll be using. The Ramey parking lot, which is near Chick-fil-A. Maybe 800 to 1,000 cars there. The campus, which we hope is around 1,000 cars, and then on the industrial park. We have captains at every location with staff that will help direct parking at those locations. So that's the crux of how we're going to handle it when the cars get to the parking areas. Jim will probably cover, I guess he will have people to collect the parking money at those lots. The buses will be color-coded in the buses, so people will know what buses to get back on once this is over with, and they'll be told at the lot, hey, you're on this bus. They'll also be told if they have a backpack or whatever, take it back to your car, you can't bring it on campus. So we're going to try to cut off a lot of problems before they even get on the buses. So again, we've got 8 Daniel buses, which are large buses. We've got, as you can see, lots of buses, all different types and sizes. We're picking up from several locations. For example, all the staff will be, volunteer staff will be at the Golden Memories. So we'll have buses to pick you up there. And we'll also have some staff there to make sure you get on the bus and if there's any issues, and we'll have radios and contact back and forth. We've got one person that will be over the buses. They'll be back at the command center. So if we need to change buses and move them to another location, we can do that. It's not a problem.
Next slide.
Okay. So it's really going to be getting people to the campus as fast as possible, getting there as smoothly as possible. We're going to open up all the lots at the same time, basically. So Ramey will open up. We have our local state and state patrol and our local police working with us. So we've got 16 state patrolmen will be working. We've got 4 DOT signs directing traffic. So a lot of the stuff is already in place to help people get to these different lots. Once they get to campus, hopefully we'll have some greeters that will get them off the buses and show them where to go from there. Our buses will come into campus, do a loop of the circle, and go right back out again. Once the campus is full, then we'll shut down the campus only for our buses. So, and then as far as exiting, the only way you'll exit this campus is off the back gates. So, and I don't need to probably show you the specifics, but we have a lot of people, a lot of volunteers working for this. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer at this time.
Great.
Now I have a question.
What'd you do that for?
So the volunteers will be parked elsewhere, far off site. So, for example, I may need to get back to town at some point to pick up my granddaughter from daycare.
We'll have buses running back and forth to Golden News
Okay, great.
for
Well,
that purpose. And we have 2 shifts of volunteers also, so time-wise.
So all of our volunteers are going to park at Golden Memories, and we're going to shuttle you to the campus.
Except if you are on one of the parking details, like if you're at the Rainy parking lot, we want you to go to that lot because you'll be there ready to go. We'll park your car there. You'll ride the bus to the campus. And same as if you're on the industrial park parking. So we want you to come onto the campus or wherever you are working if you're on one of the details for the parking.
Got another question over there. Carolyn, did you have a question?
About volunteers.
Okay.
Good. And Laura's going to set it all up here.
I'm Laura Early, I'm the chairperson of the Tourism Development Authority, and from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank each and every one of you enough for being here and volunteering. As Alan said, when we first started this a year and a half ago, this has been so much bigger than any of us ever thought. I even heard through, the week of the 4th of July, I was doing paperwork and was getting some feedback that no one was sending us. And one of the things was NASA is now saying this is going to be bigger than they ever thought. I looked at my husband and I said, they had to think it was big to start with. I mean, they're NASA, you know? They had to have thought it was much larger than I thought. But it's going to be very, very big. They are predicting, due to the number of cars on the road, portions of I-85 in South Carolina could become a parking lot. South Carolina has more totality across the state than any other state in the country. So patience is going to be huge for the day. We are encouraging everyone we talk to do your grocery shopping on Wednesday or Thursday, please, before the roads start to get really bad. Try to plan ahead as much as you can. About volunteers, again, I cannot thank you. I'm not going to give everyone a handout of the master sheets. I'm sorry, it just didn't happen. I was tired of it. Channel 11. The other thing I'll tell you about it is it keeps changing. Every time I type 2 names in, 2 names come out, and it changes a lot. So, the main thing you need to know about volunteer areas, every volunteer area has a supervisor. If it's an area that requires a lot of different, say souvenirs, a lot of different things, you will also have captains, okay? You will get a sheet, it will be emailed to you probably the end of next week, because that would be the most up-to-date information of exactly where you'll be, exactly what your captain and your supervisor's name is, what their contact information is, in case anything were to come up, you were not able to be there for whatever reason, you will need to call that captain or supervisor and let them know. They are really going to be managing your different areas.
Anything else on that?
No, it's, okay. Volunteer master plan. Most of the beverage stations are manned by community groups. Our largest volunteer needs are parking and admission and will call. I do believe souvenirs is also going to be pretty big, not as big as either one of those, but I think souvenirs is going to be pretty busy. I think by the time it's over, people are going to be shopping like crazy. Jim's going to come up and speak to you for a minute about money and about how we're handling some security issues and things like that.
My job's getting smaller with advanced ticket sales. We're about 7,000, and we have 3,000 left to sell. That's still about $5. A lot of $5 are going to be floating around, so there's going to be a lot of money floating around here. Parking,
$5 a car.
$5 a car, so that's just, if we have 3,000 cars, 3,000 tickets to sell, that's $30,000 that will be around. So I'm going to have to control that. So I'll have security, Keith Talley and Harry Miller and others We'll have backup with people who are handling cash. We'll be collecting it, counting it, storing it, and then getting it safe to the bank. You see me lying in a ditch someplace. That's not normal. Check with it. Anyway,
I
I'm
asked
looking.
him yesterday, I think that when he goes to a safe place, that he needs to have a change of clothes for every time he comes back out. He needs to be dressed different.
Incognito.
That's right.
But I'm looking forward to working with all of y'all, and as we're collecting cash and giving out all these tickets and other trinkets, we are ambassadors, so we're going to be on the front line smiling and counting and dialing.
Thank you. Another thing, give me just 1 second.
I just wanted to ask if we're selling at a booth that's going to be like the water, the drinks and things, do we need to bring cash for this cost?
It's a great question. Jim, go ahead and talk about that.
We're going to have some seed money, cash to make change.
You will be supplied with a money bag that will have seed cash in it.
I'm sorry, say that again.
You will be supplied with a money bag.
We'll start you off with some cash.
Feel free to bring some.
Then it gets mixed in with the others.
We also are going to have a pretty fair amount of student volunteers, a few students here from Raven Gap. We've got a school in Atlanta that's bringing, how many Pace?
24.
Well, probably 24 to 50 kids that are going to be volunteering. Several other groups that are going to have a lot of kids. So some of our big areas, such as what I think of as will call. You may be assigned to work an alphabet, say A through E, at will call. As people come up to you, they'll tell you your name, and you will turn around and tell some kids, okay, I need 2 tickets, I need 4 t-shirts in this size. They will be pulling all that, and then you will hand it off to them, okay? That will happen at will call, that will happen. We're going to be doing some of our traffic on campus, going to be helping just pointing cars to go certain directions, and I think they'll probably also be helping pull at student meters. You will get a worksheet, you're not getting it tonight. You need to be in place by 9:30 and for the morning shift. Golden Memories parked there no later than 9 o'clock. 1 p.m. is the afternoon shift, and that's when the morning shift will get off. Some of these shifts change a little bit, and you'll see in the notes when you get them. I may ask you for a little bit longer. You will get some type of a break. We ask that you pay attention in your assigned area to make sure the area is being covered. For example, will call. Will call should probably be finished by 1 or 2 o'clock. Those volunteers won't be needed anymore, so I would ask that they didn't take their lunch break until they're totally finished, okay? Other groups that have assignments all day long, just speak with your captain and say, is it okay if I take lunch now and then she can take lunch? That's what the captain and supervisor's job is make sure that it's covered all the time.
Can I mention what lunch is?
Lunch is Chick-fil-A's, and we're grilled.
Nick, would you stand up? We want to give you a round of applause.
It's Chick-fil-A. It is a bottled water. It is homemade cookies from the Rusty Bike Cafe and a bag of chips. So it's going to be a good lunch. It'll be a brown paper bag lunch with a Chick-fil-A surprise in it. It's going to be terrific. As far as what you're going to get being a volunteer, you get free admission, okay? You get an apron that Alan is wearing. We want you to wear those.
It's a collector's item.
Somebody's asked me one meeting earlier, is it plastic or fabric? I said, can't really tell.
It's more fabric than plastic.
But it breathes.
That's right.
It breathes, it'll be okay. It's got pockets, which are always a good thing. What else you bring?
The name badge.
You will get glasses, and you will get a name badge. We're in the process. We've got a wonderful gentleman that's making all the name badges for us, and we'll be glad to have those. So, we give you.
You're asking us to be at Golden Memories, the park. Getting there may just be a problem with Clayton.
I'm hoping by 8:30 or 9 it will not be a problem. I can't promise it. As many phone calls as we get. Well, as Danny said, we've been working extensively with Georgia State Patrol, Department of Transportation, Raven County, Sheriff's Office. Anybody that I talk to, and I know Tika talks to, and we talk to millions every day, it seems like, and they ask us about, well, where do I park? My best advice is, you do what that state patrol guy right there is telling you to do, okay? Just follow his directions. And the reader boards that they will have up. Allow as much time as you think it will need. I can't tell you exactly how much time it will need. If you don't show up there until 9:10, the bus will be back to pick you up. So just sit and wait for it. I don't know, so much of this is variable. If the weather is fabulous, we're going to have tons and tons and tons of people. If there is a hurricane sitting in the Gulf, a lot of people may decide not to come. So it's very hard to
Nick has already assured us of good weather. So.
Yes, we do have Nick and we have Channel 11 assuring us that it's going to be a fabulous weather day.
What GHP has told us to tell our visitors is allow 1 to 3 additional hours for travel time. So that's what I'm telling all of our visitors that call, 1 to 3 hours basically. And I think the weather's going to play a large part of that.
So if we have the 1 o'clock shift, can we get on the Golden Memories bus at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Sure.
Sure could.
Sure, come on out and enjoy the day. That morning shift would be your time to shop, enjoy, So, anything else I want to cover?
That last word up there.
Be flexible.
Be flexible.
Thank you. Be very, very, be patient and flexible. Those are the key words from here on out.
Smile. If we don't sell this right, our county goes.
Thank you. This is a wonderful opportunity for the county. Please be smiling even if you don't feel like it. And be patient and be very flexible. We do need more volunteers. You can call Tika or call me or email me. I think I've got most of your email addresses. Again, most of the help I need is with parking. I think everything else is pretty much covered. I will also be, as I get extra volunteers, assigning floaters and runners. So those people will check in at the commands, what do we call it, C3?
Yeah, command and control.
Command and control, and they will check in, and I may say to them there, okay, Souvenirs didn't have enough people show up, I need you to go there. Or I'm not sure what's going on over there, go check it. So, flexibility.
Am I back on, Sean?
I can just ask one more question.
Yeah,
Again,
well,
that's me.
Yes.
If we are doing drinks, how do they get replaced if we sell out?
Okay, good question. How do they're going to actually, we've got a 35-foot Hillsdale Orchard donated trucks going to be right up here in the welcome lot. And we're going to have our 25,000 beverages in there, along with our moon pies. And we're going to supply you with ice, 2 big coolers per drink station, and beverages. And then you're going to need to stay ahead of your inventory and let somebody know, and we'll have a means to communicate. Go back to the truck, bring you some more on the golf cart. If anybody has a golf cart you'd like to donate that day, I've got one, Danny's got one. Nolan, you weren't ready. We got one more we're using. We could use it, yeah. We could use another golf cart or two, so keep that in mind, and we have a place to bring them up the day before and park them and put them in position. So that's one thing we'll do. Penny is actually responsible for this lovely apron.
I made it all.
Yes, she made all this. She stayed up late at night stitching these. Here's a funny story. We got the aprons, but they were like another $2 for pockets. So Penny found the seamstress, and we had these stitched for like 25 cents an apron. So we've been very efficient with our funds. The second thing that Penny and I were talking about, if you're on the morning shift, we're not going to have coffee because we're really starting about 9:30 or 10. So if you want coffee in the morning, bring your own, okay? That's just fine. Stop somewhere, Chick-fil-A somewhere, and get some coffee. And I'm sure you'll be happy to sell them some, okay? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've got a couple more things I want to do, then we can do everybody with Q&A. If you can just hold it. Let me finish up here, and then we'll do a Q&A for you, and then I'm going to show you a video, okay? So, one of the things we have to have is a safety and security plan. And fortunately, some of our tech people do this. They support Live Nation, the concerts all over the country. And they're just totally professional. So they supplied us kind of an outline, which we built upon, and actually written a 6-page safety and security plan. Now, the General Schwarzkopf used to say, plans are okay, but good planning is a lot better. Because when you meet the enemy, your plans go to hell. Because things just don't go the way they're supposed to. Back to being flexible. So we fully anticipate all of our planning is going to provide the team with guidance that we'll actually be using our common sense, and we're going to make good decisions, and we'll get it done. But we needed a safety and security plan. So let me just show you the 2 main areas that were concerning to me and to everybody else. The first is severe weather. We've been promised good weather, but you never know. So Channel 11 will be here with their thunder truck and their whizometer. We're excited about that. Have the whizometer up here. And they have agreed to be our advanced weather central. So they've got great weather information that will be hooked back to the home office there in Atlanta, and they're going to keep us informed. And they'll give us as much notice as possible. The worst thing could happen is severe thunderstorms with lightning, hail, or tornadoes. I mean, those are the kind of things that could happen. And so we've got an evacuation plan that is actually mapped out as to where we can put people and what we're going to do. We've got a great PA system, so we've got a great way to talk to people. There's also an app that it's actually a text, and if you put it on your phone, the county, Mike Mazzarchi and the county emergency services people can give you text as to what's going on. So we're going to have a way to notify people and say, if you would, just text this and get this on your phone, if you're not already there. And that'll also give people individually the ability to know what's going on with the weather. We've got a plan, and we'll adapt as things go by, but advanced notification is going to be a key thing there. Security. We're not going to permit coolers or backpacks. So that really solves a lot of problems up front. I mean, it's very, very unlikely that we could always have some person that decided they want to come here and harm people. I mean, it could happen. We live in a world that's different from the one we grew up in. So, not having coolers or backpacks is the first great thing. We don't have to worry about people bringing in things that way. So we're going to ask that you be situationally aware. If a person's behavior or their clothing are inappropriate for the conditions, you know, it's going to be August 21st. It's going to be a hot day, and if they come dressed in an overcoat and a burqa or something, you know, it's probably not appropriate. So we just want to know at that point that the volunteer would go let one of the supervisors, captains know we've got 4 or 5 sheriff's deputies who are going to be roaming the crowd. The sheriff's going to be here. Huh? Yeah, in uniform. The sheriff's going to be here. We've got mountain patrol at the back gates here and down in the Rainy lot to protect the cars. We don't want them abandoned down there so somebody can come and break in. So we've been thinking about security a lot. And so we're going to ask that you be situationally aware. If you see something that doesn't look like, back to what I said earlier about the team feeling free to speak up, this is really important. We want to hear from you. I don't care if you don't think it's anything, but it's something that's just bothering you. I want you to tell your supervisor or captain. Okay, please do that, and let us then take the initiative and investigate. We want to really protect the crowd because we would hate to say later, well, I had a feeling about that, but I didn't say anything. So I don't want to hear that. I want to hear you. I spoke up and I told something. Okay? So there we go. That's kind of the summary. So what I'd like to do is call our team back up. We've got the mic. Wherever the mic is. Okay? And then just do a Q&A in about 5 or 6 minutes or so. When we finish, I'm going to show the video to kind of wrap it up. So we can. Is that still on? Yeah. Okay. So what questions do you have for anybody up here that we haven't answered so far? We haven't done that good a job. Yes, ma'am.
I've got some questions about security.
About security?
We're only going to have 4 officers roaming around. That doesn't seem like very many in the kind of situation that could happen.
I will give you a little more insight. We've got 16 Georgia State Patrol troopers out on the highway. We've got Dillard City Police nearby. We've got the emergency management people are bringing a lot of things in preparation for this. So it's actually a much larger group of people than just 4 agents. But we wanted them visible in uniform to be out amongst the crowd.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have the National Guard here. We didn't think that was necessary, but we're trying to be judicious. Jim?
If we have
these remote parking areas, if there's something happens, a health issue, we have a contact, obviously we'll have a contact number where you can get an ambulance there or medical attention or whatever that's right.
Great question.
You'll have a radio that kind of goes right back to me, and I'll have your phone number too, but if the phones don't work, the radio will. And then you've got Red Cross on site. We've got the... Yeah.
So let me expand on that just a little bit. The EMS people have already decided where the ambulance is going to be on campus. And we've already got the coordinates of the field in the back, well actually it's back over this side, for a helicopter landing pad. So we've really thought through as much as we can. Now back to your question, if it's a remote area like Rainy, then that's a different issue. But we are giving all of our captains a cell phone contact list. So they'll know who they can call and get, and we've got 8 radios that a number of our supervisors will have, because one of the things we worry about is cell coverage is going to actually be overwhelmed that day. We tried to get a cow from Verizon, AT&T. You know what a cow is? It's a cell on wheels. It's a cell on wheels. It's a booster for your cell service. But we didn't get in the queue quickly enough, and we're not going to get one. And they're hoping that they've increased the service enough where it'll be good. But we're fully anticipating that we may lose cell service up here with 10,000 people all trying to use the service. So that's one thing.
Reminded by text may get through.
Yeah, and text, as Bobby says, are often much better than voice. Just try texting. So that's, you were going to say something about that, Tika.
Well, no, what I was going to say is we're talking about this being volunteer, and we're thanking you all for volunteers. I'm the only paid employee for the Tourism Development Authority. All these people that have put in hours and hours and hours for over a year, they're all volunteers too. So I just want you to know that y'all aren't the only ones volunteering. These guys are too. And our team that's been meeting is 15 strong that we've been meeting for a year. So thank you guys, and thank you all. So anyway, back to
Let me
questions.
illustrate what she just said. We had our last large group meeting on the 31st of July. We've been meeting monthly in the last 2 or 3 months, twice monthly for 2 to 3 hours. My notes from that meeting were single-spaced, 6 pages. Just to give you a clue about what we've got going on and how many balls are in the air. And it's pretty amazing, but I mean, to see this plan coming to fruition. And actually we'll have people come and we'll actually have an eclipse, but this has been fun. Carol.
Those of us who are selling tickets, there'll be some people who are coming, who are parked on campus, may not know they can't bring backpacks or cooler. What do we do with those things?
Danny, you can take
Well, but they will, because when we park the cars, the captains already know that. So when the captains park the cars, when their staff parks the cars, it's going to be widely told, no, leave your backpacks. So we're going to head that off right at the front of it.
We also, I had signs made for every parking lot, so as soon as they drive in, they will not be able to miss no backpacks, no coolers, no bags. Seriously. Well, I guess you could, but I'm hoping they won't, because I got a lot of those signs made. So
We'll also have some people show up with pets, trust me. And when they do, we're going to send them up to Dillard. Dillard's having an event, Dillard City Hall, and they're also going to be overflow parking for us. So if we send people up to Dillard, not because of pets, because we don't have enough parking elsewhere, we'll run a shuttle bus up there and get them and bring them down. So that's actually a safety valve, huh? Dillard City Hall.
The Dillard event.
There's parking for 400 cars up there. Yes, Aaron?
Just a problem that I have run into in the past, being a volunteer with our church and as a nurse. We have people who will try to use the, well, I hate to say an excuse, but say, for an example, they're a diabetic and they have to carry their insulin or something with them. What are going to be the exceptions? Because some, they are going to have to maybe keep that cold in a small fanny pack or in
diaper
a
bags.
cooler.
I'll speak to that. So what would you do about those? We're going to talk to our captains in each of the parking areas and use common sense. So we'll deal with those. And if somebody wants to bring a large drink or cooler, in their hand, that's fine too. But some kind of medical pack, certainly, that's going to be fine. Strollers, possibly, but most people aren't going to bring infants to this, but they might bring young children. And the problem we get into with strollers is just it's going to take space on the buses and vans. So,
Well, it's also very hard to control the glasses on an infant or a toddler.
so we don't think there'll be a lot of real infants. Yes, ma'am.
What about purses?
What about what?
Purses, ladies with purses, handbags.
Again, I think it's common sense, we'll kind of make that call. If they're bringing in a bag that looks like a duffel bag, but this is my purse, we know that's not.
So
But-
purses are okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't personally carry a purse, but I know most people do, and so that, you
If
know.
it's borderline, what we're gonna ask is our parking folks will just say, ma'am, you know,
We're gonna go
we're not permitting,
okay.
can we look at that just for security reasons, for your security? And that's the other thing we're telling people, look, it's a prep campus, there are rules here. We can't bring these things on campus, and here's why. Now, we are saying bring your blankets, bring your chairs and umbrellas for the sun or for the rain. So, by the way, Penny was good enough to find a really good source for sunblock. So we've ordered 750 packages, and they're logoed with our logo, and we'll sell them till they're gone for $1. By the way, we're going to sell all the beverages for $1. So it's going to be a great deal for people. We're not trying to exploit, we're trying to make this family friendly. And so we're keeping the prices very reasonable on everything we can. Credit cards, we can handle. We've got Square, and we're actually equipped, but in the parking lot, we don't want any credit cards. $5, you know. If you don't have $5, we're going to say it's an honor system. When you get out to the campus, tell somebody and give them $5, you know. We're not going to hold things up trying to take a credit card down in the Remy parking lot. Okay? Other questions? We done that good a job? You got anything you wanted to add to? I'd like to close this just about right with a 9-minute and 13-second video that the Georgia State Astronomy and Physics Department did for us. 2 of their PhD students narrated, and when folks come on campus, either by parking or when we dropped off up here in the circle right outside, we're going to have the greeters get on the bus and greet them or the van when they get out and welcome them to the campus of the event, and suggest that they come over to greeters and watch this video. It's going to be looping, so it'll be shown continuously. We've debated whether to show it every 15 minutes or something, but we're going to keep the house lights at a reasonable level so you can see and hear, come and go. And this is where we hope people will come and start the day. And it'll give them an overview of the campus, what's going on, and eclipses. So this is what we're going to see. So let's roll the film. Can we bring the lights down a little bit, Michelle, anything?
Hello, I'm Ryan Norris, a PhD student at the Department of Physics and Astronomy at Georgia State University. Welcome to the Raven Gap-Nacoochee School. We are so excited to see this many people out for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see a total solar eclipse.
Hi, my name is Michelle Silverstein. I'm also a PhD student at Georgia State University. We'd like to thank our sponsors for this, the Raven Gap-Nacoochee School, for the hospitality and providing this location with excellent facilities for seeing the eclipse. The Raven County Tourism Development Authority for organizing and planning this event, and to the faculty and graduate students of the Department of Physics and Astronomy at Georgia State University for providing their time, insight, and expertise for this event.
The eclipse starts at about 1 p.m., but there are a lot of other eclipse-related events going on today. Let's highlight a few. On the ball fields, there will be stations where Georgia State students and professors will answer questions about eclipses and any other astronomy question you may have. You will be able to recognize the GSU astronomy team by the blue t-shirts with the Georgia State University logo. The Georgia State staff will also provide activities that children and adults may enjoy. For example, we will have a station that will allow children to create a pinhole camera. This is a simple device with which it is safe to view the sun. Solar telescopes are also set up for safely viewing the sun. Finally, Visitech USA science trucks are located in the upper parking area for free hands-on experiences of science and astronomy.
Also on the ball field, there will be food trucks, water stations, and restroom facilities. You'll also see 2 large screen TVs showing highlights of the eclipse as it moves across the country, broadcasting comments from the astronomers present and showing questions and comments respectively.
One cautionary note. Remember to always wear your eclipse glasses by looking directly at the sun. Do not take them off to look at the sun until the eclipse is total and an announcement is made that you may remove them. No sunglasses can give you enough protection to view the sun.
And now, a little bit about eclipses throughout history.
Because of their dramatic appearance, solar eclipses have long attracted attention. Solar eclipses were recorded in historical records around the world, enabling historians of today to determine the date of other events which happens in proximity to the eclipses. Some of the earliest records of eclipses are found in records from about 2,800 years ago from China and Assyria, a region that is now parts of Iraq, Turkey, and Syria. Although eclipses were often viewed as omens, early astronomers were able to predict them. Indeed, although there is some debate over the truth of the account, the Greek historian Herodotus recorded such an event. The philosopher and astronomer Thales of Miletus predicted an eclipse which took place during a battle. The feuding sides stopped fighting and agreed to end their long-standing war. Because this war took place 2,600 years ago, this would be the earliest record of a predicted solar eclipse. What is known is that by 2,400 years ago, astronomers in China had developed methods for predicting eclipses, and the Greeks had discovered the scientific cause of eclipses. With the invention of the telescope, the sun became a subject of increased scientific study. In 1842, as a result of studies made during eclipses, the outermost part of the sun, the solar corona, was discovered, and observations of later 19th century eclipses helped astronomers determine the composition of the sun. In fact, helium was discovered in the sun's corona several decades before it was found on Earth. You will be able to see the corona today when the eclipse is total. So what exactly will you see?
Eclipses are named by the object whose light is blocked. If the sun's light is blocked by the moon, it's a solar eclipse. The moon goes around the Earth in a counterclockwise direction, and the Earth goes around the sun counterclockwise also. So every month, when the phase of the moon is new, the moon is roughly, although not exactly, between the Earth and the sun. Almost twice every year, the moon, Earth, and the sun perfectly align. During some of those occasions, the moon's shadow falls on the Earth. Since the moon is much smaller than the sun, the shadow is very small and passes through only a few countries on Earth. If you happen to be in the shadow of the moon on the Earth at that time, you will see the moon move over the sun, cover it completely, and then move back.
But the moon is much smaller than the sun, so why does it cover the sun almost exactly?
Well, first, the moon is much smaller than the Earth. In the video, you can see the relative sizes. In addition, the Earth is much, much smaller than the sun. The moon is also far from the Earth, so even though it is about 1/6 of Earth's diameter, it looks pretty small in the sky. On the other hand, the sun is much bigger than the Earth, about 100 times Earth's diameter. However, as you can see, the sun is very far away from the Earth and the moon. By chance, because it is so far away, the sun looks about the same size as the moon in the sky. So on occasion, and when the moon is in the right
what you should expect to see. When the moon begins to cover the sun, you may be able to notice that the moon is not a perfect sphere. Some craters and mountains on the moon might reveal themselves. Also, look around your area and towards the horizon. You may see a dark shadow approaching from the west and moving towards the east. When only a small portion of the sun is visible, it looks like a diamond ring in the sky as sunlight passes through the valleys on the moon. After the moon has covered the sun completely, the sky will become dark, and planets and stars will become visible, and you may even hear the calls of some night animals. This is also the time when you will be able to see the sun's corona. The corona is the sun's crown, a name given to the sun's outer atmosphere. But you won't be able to see this without your safety glasses on. So an announcement will inform you when it is safe to take your glasses off, so that you can see this amazing crown, the king of the solar system. If we are lucky, we may even see a coronal mass ejection, the most explosive event in our solar system. CMEs are eruptions of vast amounts of gas from the corona of the sun. If one happens to strike the Earth, we can be impacted by failure of orbiting communication satellites and even possible electric power outages. The totality of the eclipse will last for 2 minutes and 38 seconds. An announcement will give you a signal when it is about to be over so that you can put your safety glasses back on. Please remember to help others, especially children, put their glasses on as well. As the moon starts to move on, you will be able to see the diamond ring again for a while before the moon moves completely out of the way. The eclipse will pass across the United States, beginning in Oregon and ending in South Carolina. The moon's shadow will be moving at about 1,100 miles per hour. We will be showing videos of the total eclipse on large screen TVs that happens at several NASA observing stations across the nation during the hour and a half before the eclipse reaches us.
Finally, a few reminders about safety. Please be sure to keep your safety glasses on when looking at the sun. Once the sun is totally covered by the moon, an announcement will be made that it is safe to remove your glasses for the 2.5 minutes of the total eclipse. This will occur at 2:35 p.m. and will end 2.5 minutes later at 2:38 p.m. Don't forget, an announcement will be made just before glasses need to be worn again. Remember, the short duration of the eclipse is the only time you can look at the sun without safety glasses. It can seriously damage your eyes if you don't follow this rule.
Other safety notes not directly related to eclipses. It's August. This is Georgia. Please try to stay hydrated to counter the summer heat. There are several locations selling water and cool drinks. Sunblock is also on sale if you need it. In the event of a minor medical issue, first aid stations are located on the fields. Finally, restroom facilities are also stationed on the fields. If for any reason you need assistance, please feel free to contact the event staff stationed throughout the field wearing yellow volunteer aprons.
So, as is customary for any science class, here comes the test. True or false? Galileo went blind in one eye because he looked at the sun with his telescope.
The correct answer is false. Galileo knew to be very careful of the dangers of looking at the sun. He went blind because he suffered from cataracts and possibly glaucoma in his 70s, severe enough to blind him in one eye.
Have a great day and enjoy the spectacular natural event that only a relatively few number of people get to see in their lifetimes. The next total solar eclipse visible in the United States will be April 18th, 2024, but it won't be anywhere near you. That's all for now.
They did a good job.
As a teacher over here.
Only one question. I know.
It's 100 or 0.
I was expecting one. Thank you, everybody. We're looking forward to it in 11 days.
11 days.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be there.
Thanks for